Welcome to Season 4, Episode 12 of the Scandalous Scandal Recap. I'm Larry Brown Jr.
Hi, and I am Janiyah Wright.
Welcome to tonight's recap, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. We are so glad to be back. Tonight's episode of Scandal delivered on every single moment, every single thing that we needed it to be, at least what I wanted it to be. And I will tell you, I loved it, and I want to waste no more time bantering about what we loved about it. Let's just talk about it. Remember, if you're watching us on and tweeting, use the hashtag Scandal Recap at the bottom of the screen for me and the bottom of the screen for Janiyah. And you can also comment on the event page in Google+. And remember, if you're watching us on YouTube, you can put a comment in the section on the comment sections on YouTube. And you can also put thumbs up or thumbs down if you agree with what we are saying or disagree with what we're saying, or if you like a part of tonight's recap. Janiyah, are you ready?
LBJ, I am beyond ready. This episode tonight was so good. LBJ, where should we begin?
Oh my gosh. I think we should just begin at the beginning tonight. I mean, the episode opened tonight with, oh gosh, I'm drawing a blank. What do we open with tonight? Tonight we open, I know what it was. We opened tonight with Quinn and Huck in the beginning of the episode telling Gabby Red, that she was no longer a gladiator. How hurtful was that for her to hear those words out of her mouth, and how hard was it for them to say that to her and have to just look down at the wood table in the conference room when they said that?
Right, LBJ. I mean, seriously, Gabby, she walks into, she tries to call Olivia. Ring, 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 ring. No answer. She goes to Olivia's apartment, LBJ. What did she see? Spilled wet red wine on the couch.
Which is a sin. That is a sin.
Oh, it's a sin, LBJ. No one would leave a red wine spill on the couch, especially not Olivia, since that is the only thing that she consumes. That's her entire nutrition. LBJ. Right. Gabby Abby is running around scared, nervous, and no one is giving her any information. And LBJ, she went to the one place where she thought she'd be able to find the information she needed. And LBJ, they turned her away. Mm-hmm. Turned her away like a schmuck from the street.
It's crazy. They not only did they turn her away, but they also said that we cannot trust the White House because they know that something is afoot. Something is afoot, and they had to decode and figure out what was going on. And so, Quinn and Huck went into Gladiator B613 mode, they were trying to figure out everything that was going on. But meanwhile, in the White House, we see Mellie comforting Fitz about Olivia. How crazy is it that the First Lady is comforting the President about the President's side piece, Janiyah?
LBJ, she was seriously comforting him. And it just goes back to what she said last episode. Last episode, she went to Fitz and she said, you know what? We're partners now. Mm-hmm. She said, you know what? No more of this hiding things from each other. No more pretending like there is you and me romantically. We're partners. This is our presidency. Let's make this thing work. And LBJ, true to form, Mellie is back. Not smelly Mellie. Not chicken fried Mellie. This is beast mode Mellie, LBJ. She's back.
Right. Yeah, it is. And she's back, and she is in full effect. She's in full swing. This is like the Mellie that Fitz learned to love in campaign mode while he was, in his original camp, or really back in her nonprofit days in D.C. But can we talk about, Janiyah, along with all that was going on with the campaigns, we now have a new campaign going on this episode to sell Olivia Pope. And Olivia Pope is exactly right. Oh, emoji face. And we see we see the setup of what promises to be an all-out bidding war for what they call in this auction. It was a high-value female asset. High-value female asset was the type of auction that the people in this dark, what was it called? The dark net.
It was the dark net. Yeah, it was the dark net, LBJ. LBJ, I loved this auction. What I loved most about the auction was Olivia's confidence about how much she would go for.
Absolutely.
LBJ, she's sitting there talking to the man that is holding her hostage, and she says to him, "Oh, I'm going to go for at least $1 billion and a half dollars." LBJ, mean, she's literally sitting there, putting the price on her head and knowing that it's pretty darn huge. And she's right, LBJ. Fitz has proven that. He has gone to war. Lives have been lost, LBJ. All in pursuit of what? And it starts with an N. It's the nectar.
The nectar. The nectar.
It's back. It's back. It's back.
Oh gosh, yes. And you know what else is back? The Q&A is back, and the Q&A is open and it's in full swing. Kimmy J's in the Q&A. Kimmy J, we see you. Thank you so much for joining us. She says, hello, anyone home? Yes, we see you. And then there's a special person in the Q&A. Janiyah, look who it is.
Well, now that someone looks familiar.
Look who it is. Candace Brown. She says, poor Gabby Abby is out of the loop. Huck is loyal to a fault, and his loyalty is to Olivia only. Bye, Abby.
Bye. Bye. Get on out of here. And you know what? Gabby Abby ends up going where to go try to find her answers, LBJ? She goes to who? Daniel Rosen. And Daniel Rosen tries to do what? He tries to check her at the door, LBJ. You know? And she says to him, listen, don't you dare act like I don't have a stake in this game just because we're not dating anymore. She said, you need to tell me when my only friend, my best friend, LBJ, has been taken, has disappeared. My goodness, LBJ, I tell you, Gabby Abby, she laid down a few rules today.
She did. Gabby Abby laid down a few rules. But you know, you mentioned that Gabby Abby spoke about Olivia being her best friend and her only friend. But one of the terror goons, Janiyah, referred to Olivia as something else. We called her the B word a few times.
He did.
When Ian was around, which, by the way, if you go back and watch this Scandalous Scandal recap previously, you will see that I predicted that Ian only had maybe two episodes left in this whole plot for Olivia Pope. No sooner than... Did I not say that, Janiyah?
You did, LBJ. You said Ian was going down and going down fast, and LBJ, you were right.
But
he was gone 10% into the episode.
Exactly. Like, I was just like, whoa, whoa. I didn't expect it to happen so soon.
Yes.
But so Ian goes, but before Ian went down, Homeboy refers to, he says Olivia Pope. He's like, what's going on? What's going on with this whole plot? This is not the plot that we agreed to.
Yes, that was Gus.
I love it what he said. He's like, you know, we're walking around, and he said, we come in here and we find her walking around all la-ti-da, clean up the world. I thought that was so funny.
He did. He said la-ti-da, Miss America.
Right. What is that?
LBJ, but his name is Gus. This is goon number 2. Okay? Goon number 1 is Ian. Goon number 2 is Gus. And Gus, he's sitting there trying to make sense of all that's going on. And he says to Ian, you know, she's a hostage. I don't think that we're supposed to make plans with our hostage. He's looking to the left and the right. What is going on, LBJ?
Yeah.
Ian is sitting there so confident in his super awesome plan. He's got Olivia by his side. He just thinks he's about to win. But guess what, Ian? You're not about to win. Your 3 or 4 episode engagement with ABC is concluded. You're dead. You're dead now.
In 3, 2, 1, pop! Blow Olivia's face. Like, it's crazy.
Yes. Crazy.
Yeah.
And LBJ, what is happening on the other side of this bidding war for Olivia?
My gosh. Oh, go for it. Go for it, please. Go
LBJ.
Go for it.
LBJ, well, first of all, we have been quite surprised. I won't say impressed because we don't like him, but we have been quite surprised by Andrew's confidence. He has just been Mr. Cocky Pants the last few episodes, traipsing about like he's just got it all planned out. Well, I will tell you this. Today, Fitz and Cyrus said, oh, you think you got a plan, Mr. Andrew? Well, we've got another plan. LBJ, the first time we see Fitz and Cyrus, they are executing a super awesome get Andrew the heck out of here plan. And they are saying, you know what? Executive order number 1, Secret Service, you're corrupt, you're out. Okay? Executive order number 2, you know what? We're bringing in the Marines to take care of us because we know we have allies there. They've also drafted up what, LBJ? A resignation letter for Andrew. Okay, LBJ? And Cyrus takes this resignation letter in to Andrew. LBJ, I have to tell you, I thought it was a wrap. But it wasn't, was it?
It wasn't a rap, but can I just say, I just loathed the way that Andrew handled the entire situation. He's like, well, if you do this, I'm going to tell on you. And if you
Right.
tell on me, if you put me out, I'm going to tell on you too. I'm going to tell you how I screwed the president's wife on the trunk of the car and everything else he was saying. I was like, Andrew, this is so not cool. Like, boo, boo, Andrew, boo.
Right. You know what, Andrew? Once again, you are absolutely the very worst.
Right.
Okay. We were impressed with you. We thought, well, my goodness, this man actually maybe does have something going on. Andrew, you don't. Because when it is time to pull out the guns, you have no guns, and you turn into a little baby.
He did.
Oh no, I don't want to go to prison.
Right.
You're not going to send me to prison. I'm going to tell on you. Let it go, Andrew. You lost.
But right, you know who lost? Who seemed to have lost as well, Janiyah, was Huck with the B613 money. Let me just say that. Have you ever noticed on the show that they will be in the midst of a crisis and they're trying to figure out this crisis, and everybody's in their whole mode? Like we can go back to season 1 with Columbus and with Harrison and with Steven, who by the way got shout outs tonight in the episode
He did.
when Quinn was in there. But we remember if you see when all Gladiators were together, even when there was just Quinn and Jake in there today, they're like, we gotta get this money, we gotta find this money. Well, Sally Mae is going. I got student loans, and Sally Mae can't find me, this and the other. And Huck's like, I have money, and they're still going on like, oh, we gotta find this money, we gotta find this money, we gotta find this money, and he's like, I have money, and he's always like, always whispering something they don't hear. He's like, he can't take like, I have the money. Have you noticed that?
Because you know what, Huck, you know what, maybe if you mumbled in the corner a little less, people would listen to you more.
Right.
Most of the time when he's mumbling, he's not saying anything of value. So yes, Huck, we have started to ignore you when you're mumbling in the corner. This time it turns out he did have something to say, LBJ. And what it was, he said, you know what, I've got the dollars and cents to get us into this game. Let's back up a little bit, LBJ. The auction, right?
Yes.
Fitz has called together the CIA, and he has said to the CIA, you know what? I want into this auction. You know, the bad guys have got my #1 boo up for auction all across the world, across the dark net. I want into this auction. Mm-hmm. So the CIA, LBJ, they look into their black book, and it's probably a black book that's in a black box. And LBJ,
the dark net.
That is for the dark net. And LBJ, and they look and find what bad guys, what international terrorists they're in cahoots with. Okay, they find their international terrorists, they leverage a few of those terrorists, and they find their way in, LBJ, and they're bidding for Olivia. What's happening at Pope and Associates? It's the same thing. They've said, you know what, we can't trust the White House. They're not super awesome. We've got to get in there, and we've got to bid on Olivia if we're going to get her back. And LBJ, they're now masterminding a secret plan. LBJ, they need 2 things. They need money, and they need an international terrorist.
Yeah, buddy.
They had the money, LBJ. As you said, Huck has literally taken, it was like multiple billions of dollars, LBJ.
Yeah, it's a little more. The B613 money when they drained the account was a little more than $2 billion.
Wow. And then Huck says, I considered it back pay for my time in the hole. Nicely done, Huck. Nicely done.
Absolutely. But then they've got to find this terrorist, and they don't know who to use. They're like, you know what? There's only one person we could use. We know who we could use. And immediately I start screaming, and I say, Mama Pope saves the day. Mama Pope stepped in, and she came in, and
yes, she did.
How they walked in her cell, Janiyah, and she was sitting there, all like, she's always. Yeah. She's always like asymmetrical. She's always at an angle, and like she's got like something like scoliosis or something in her spine.
LBJ, I want to give you the Webster's Dictionary definition for that. It's called the gangster lean.
Right. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay, so Mama Pope is sitting there with the gangster lean, and they come rushing in, and she goes, this should be interesting, because she knows something's going on. Oh, it was so good. So good.
So good. So good, LBJ.
Yeah, and what about the way that they went about engaging Mama Pope in this situation? We figured out what her alias was to get into that network, to break in. She kind of gave them some way to go and kind of give the collateral to make sure everything was going to be well and legit and really confirmed for them to be inside of the darknet for this particular auction.
Right. And LBJ, did you catch when Mama Pope said, my name for the purposes of this negotiation is Marie Wallace? She said, well, at least to them. LBJ, once again, we don't know her name.
We don't.
It's not Maya Pope. It's not Marie Wallace. What is your name, lady? We don't know who you are. You're completely frightening. You're on the dark net. Okay, Mama Pope, who are you?
Darknet's like the .com.
It's like the .com is the worst jazz lounge ever.
Exactly.
LBJ. And so what does she do? And let me just say, for someone who has been in various holes and prison cells for 22 years, she does a really good job of maintaining her networks. She should write a book on how to really build a super strong network. Because somehow she still knows how to get in touch with all the bad guys, LBJ.
Absolutely, she does. But she also knows how to do Janiyah as well. She knows how to stay in touch with her emotion, and she can turn it on, turn it off. Remember, she had that moment when Olivia left, when Olivia was going to lose it in front of her, and she said, "Hold it together, Olivia." And Olivia got it together, and she sucked it up and walked out, and then Maya just kind of like just melted. And then today, we see her in control of her emotions. She's like, well, I want a house with a picket fence. And she didn't want like a house in like the main, like on this randomville street in the city of in the USA with like rocks at the front lawn. No, she wanted a house with the lawn, with the fence. You know, she wanted all of that stuff. They're like, nope, you're staying here. She said, well, give me a TV. No, there's metal in the TV. You can make some kind of transistor radio and talk to your terrorist.
Yes.
You can't do that. She's like, well, and Quinn was like, no, let's give her TV outside of the room, have the remote in here. She said, with cable. They're like, basic. And she's like, I just need to see the news station to see my Livy. Like, she loves her daughter. She loves her daughter.
You know what? I think you're throwing the word love around. You're being fast and loose with the word love here.
Well,
LPJ.
love is twisted within the Pope family. Love is twisted. They have their varying ways of showing love. You know, Daddy Pope shows love through records and wine. Mama Pope shows love through like making you sure you hold it together, but then like melting afterwards.
Right. Now you're right. I mean, they're perfect role models for, you know, the kind of life. This is the kind of love that Olivia understands. Okay, we all know she this is her understanding of love. It is literally, you know, loved ones put you in horrible situations and then get you out. That's all. That's the only kind of love that she's ever experienced clearly in her life. LBJ, here is Mama Pope showing her quote unquote love, and she masterminds this whole big partnership with some bad guy called Gustavo, which forces Huck to have to kill some bad guys. LBJ, what did you think of that scene?
Janiyah, that was, first of all, that's how we really opened the show, with the violent warning at the top of the show, like, you know, viewer discretion is advised because of the gore that we were in store for.
Yes.
And Janiyah, I was very, like, I was just reminded about how Huck really has issues that need to be handled. When I was talking to Candace about it, it's like he goes to this place. It's like he goes into a particular place that has him feeling youthful. Like, there's a boyishness about it. There's also a darkness about it. And that's the place where he dwells. And it's like he can't control that mania that he experiences when he goes to that place. And what I thought was really crazy about that scene is that when he decided he needed to do what he needed to do to prove to Gustavo that, you know, we're good to go, and here's the collateral, here are these people's heads, they're gone, they're dead. He said, I've gotta cut their heads. I've gotta chop up their heads so he'll believe me. That'll be the only way that he knows it. And Jake is like, hey bruh, like, do you go ahead, clean up, because we need to go soon, because the auction is going on, and I'll help you out. And so what does Jake do? Jake goes and Jake is like, okay, yeah, so I'm just chopping this man's head off, and I was just like, you know what, B613, the B in B613 stands for about that life, because these people are about that life.
LBJ, they really are. You know, Jake could have been slicing a fresh loaf of bread from a bakery. I mean, it was literally no big deal.
Literally.
So they get the 3 heads, LBJ. They obviously deliver them to Gustavo because Gustavo gets into the auction, gives them a password, and there they are, ready to hop in, LBJ. They're ready to hop on in there and start to leverage, that good old B613 college fund for Huck. LBJ, only to see that what? They are too late.
Too late.
The auction has been shut down, LBJ.
Absolutely, it's been shut down. Game shut down. And the auction, so immediately my mind goes to the auction being shut down because, the young guy's goal was to have $1 billion in life. So I'm thinking, okay, they're going to shut down $1 billion maybe. And remember, they came in at just over $1 billion when they entered the auction, and it was over. So we're thinking, oh, they shut down at $1 billion. But no. Homeboy comes in, Gus. That Gus the Goon comes in, and he's like, I sold I sold you to somebody who has cash. They have the cash, and they bought you cash. I sold you to Iran. By the way, they were saying Iran, but it's really Iran. Like, I don't know why they're not calling it Iran. I guess because those are Americans. Americans only say Iran. Anyway, sidebar.
No, I'm so grateful, LBJ, that you always really do a great job of giving us little tutorials on pronunciation. Because what you're really doing is you're helping us to be better people. And we thank you for that. And LBJ, I already forgot the pronunciation you just told us. So anyway.
Iran.
LBJ. So then we're all like, okay, Gus and his goons, they've stopped the auction. Gus was like, yeah, I sold you to Iran. Did you really think you were going to get a choice? Ha, 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 I'm a super bad guy. Meanwhile, Olivia is in cahoots, LBJ. She's in cahoots with who? Goon number 3 and goon number 4, who to this point have been so inconsequential, we really don't know their names.
Right, exactly.
Goon number 3 and goon number 4, LBJ, they are just the techie guys, right? They're just the IT team. They're the IT department, LBJ. Mm-hmm. And Olivia, what does she do, LBJ? She gave him a good dose of that Pope. She said, hey, I seem to have some quiet time with you. I guess this is my big chance to manipulate you and make you think that we're best friends and remind you that I am the most powerful woman in the world and the most sought-after asset in the whole universe. Don't you want a piece of that, IT guy 3 and 4? And LBJ, they fell for it, LBJ. They got poked. And meanwhile, Olivia thinks she's being sold to Iran, but she's having all of these secret glances with IT guy 3 and 4. What's up with that?
So she was really using the nectar factor. That's exactly what she was doing. We saw the nectar factor at work. Yeah, we saw the nectar factor at work tonight, and we saw how magical it really is with Olivia Pope and the whole nectar factor. Like, that's clearly what it was. That's what it's going to be like, and that's what the do was. But, seriously, like, that's really what it was. So, but I also want to bring up the fact that while Olivia is dealing with, these potential guys, I was thinking to myself, does she see potential in these people? Because remember, the team is shrinking. Right now, there are only 2 gladiators. Mm-hmm. We have, and this episode is called Gladiators Don't Run. So we only got 2 gladiators, really, Huck and Quinn. The team needs to be, there's room for expansion on the team. She sees that these guys are, they are involved in some darkness, and they want to get paid. They want to do stuff. They want to feel important, and they want to get, some great compensation for it. So could it be that she was maybe scouting them to be gladiators in a later episode? I don't know. My mind went there and thought about that. I don't know. But where my mind also, what I also observed in this episode, Janiyah, was Cyrus returning to his throne of ruling and leading within the White House, and we saw that in the way that he intentionally screamed at Elizabeth throughout this entire episode. He greeted her each time, Lizzie Bear, Elizabeth, like he literally, like, he was getting her. He's like, hey girl, you ain't going nowhere. Don't think you're packing up, leaving, doing this and that. I'm going to shut you down, and you're going to be locked up right with your little homeboy Andrew. I thought that was amazing how Cyrus played that entire thing when Andrew was acting like a little lost boy.
Yeah, you're so right, LBJ, because, Lizzie Bear, she's another one. Lizzie Bear DeGeneres.
Yeah, Lizzie Bear DeGeneres.
She's another one, LBJ, who, when we first met her, there she was on her high horse, just riding high, being an RNC chairperson and really just, running things from the back office. Well, now we find her in her office just still a little shaken up from Huck really letting her know how fragile her life actually is. And she's in there, LBJ, trying to shred documents.
Yes.
Okay, sidebar.
No discretion. Like, discretion, all the chill for discretion is out the window. Like,
out the window.
None whatsoever.
Right, but I would just want to make a quick footnote to bad guys out there. Don't keep files. Everything that she was just shredding, she probably should have shredded long ago. I don't think that if you're going to be like a person who's doing malicious things all the time, I don't think you should have a backlog when you're shredding. I think you stay up on it, you get those files shredded just ASAP. Okay, back to the chat. Now,
Can we just take a moment and say that Janiyah just shouted out a takeaway for bad guys? Hey, bad guys out there, if you're watching, rewind 5 seconds and listen to what Janiyah just said.
I'm here to help. I'm here to serve. I am Janiyah, and I am here to serve. Hashtag Iyama Bunzan shout out as well. LBJ. And then, and Cyrus, yes, once again, he is checking Liz, and he says, listen, you are going to testify against Andrew. And if not, you will be my what? B-I-T-C-H, LBJ. He cussed at her, actually.
Yes, this is a family recap. This is a family scandal recap. So
G-rated, yes.
Well, I think the content puts us in PG-13. We're referring to nectar and things like that. That's PG-13. Yeah, bad guys. Right, exactly. You talk about stabbing and beheading. That's PG-13. Yeah.
I think you're right. You're right.
Yeah, but it was so good though to see Cyrus return to that. And what also was good, Janiyah, was to see this weird thing between was a conversation between Mellie and Andrew.
Yes.
And when Mellie and Andrew had that conversation, Andrew at this point he's feeling like his ground is falling from under him. If that's even like an adage or an idiom, like he's sitting there like, okay, Mellie, do I still have you in my corner? Can I count on you? Because they're trying to take me out at this point. And she's like, it's over. He trusted you. He chose you because he thought you were loyal. And Mellie thought she was just doing it, and she was serving it up to him. And he said, he thought the same about you. I was like,
had to be said. I had a little hallelujah moment where I had to act like I wasn't in the living room by myself and start talking to the air. I turned to my left and I said, oh, he told her. Nobody was there, LBJ. But I shouted it to the rooftop. Ah, he told her. Nobody was sitting there. Because he did, LBJ. Yeah, she's doing it again? LBJ, you know who else Mellie had a really interesting couple of conversations with is Fitz, LBJ. Back again, as we were talking about before, about Mellie and Fitz now actually having an understanding where she literally has just conceded. She said, you know what, you're in love with Liv. I'm going to support that. And LBJ, she literally said to him, Mellie to Fitz, we sleep better when she is lying between us. The she being Olivia Pope.
Olivia Pope.
BJ, what do you think about that?
Janiyah, it was so weird, that whole exchange between them. Like, I even put in my notes that Mellie and Fitz have this weird way of rekindling something that they once had, but it's not necessarily for their good. It's for their good, but it's not for the good of the under the confines of traditional marriage as we know it. Like, it's not that of a husband unto a wife and a wife unto a husband. It's more of a, let me make sure that you're okay. Let me make sure that your jump off is okay. I'm fine with not having my jump off because my jump off is not really she's like, I want to lead the world. She wants to be on top. She remembered why she did. She remembered why she withstood the rape. She remembered why she withstood the death of her son. Like, they connected in that moment where he said that I want the son back. It was just a weird rekindling and reconnection that we're seeing this side of the season between Fitz and Mellie Janiyah. I don't know. It just feels weird to me, the whole thing. It feels weird.
You know what, LBJ? It feels weird, but you know what else? It really feels very real and authentic to those of us that have been in long-term relationships. Not the part about being okay that your spouse has a jump off, but the part about saying, you know what? I really, truly am going to accept you for who you are, and I'm going to realize that so much of what a life together is a business partnership. We are managing things together. We are making decisions together. We are both making trade-offs. We're choosing each other every day. Marriage is hard work. And I will tell you, in LBJ, in that way, this place where they are in their marriage, it seems very authentic. And I will just say, I get it. Hashtag real life.
Hashtag real life. Well,
Yeah.
look. So Candace Brown is in the Q&A, and there's a comment here that I would like to use to segue into what I would like to bring up, and it says, "Let's wage war to rescue the side chick." It's the plot of Mario Brothers. Rescue her. That is so true, Candace. That is
Oh
so
my
true.
goodness. I
That is
love it.
so good, and it is so true. Like they are really waging a war to get
Yes.
protect Princess Peach in the castle in the tower. You gotta go lower and lower down. Like they're
Yes.
trying to get Princess Peach out of the castle. This whole plot is crazy.
Yes.
And
Yes.
who knew that this could really be a story? And if you follow me on Twitter, I posted after Gus the Goon calls her $1 billion baby.
Ooh.
Remember in season 1 when we figure out that the president was sleeping with what did the president call the little girl and it sent Olivia over the top? He called her what? Sweet baby. You remember that? He called her sweet baby. Sweet baby. So I tweeted, I said, Lifetime presents From Sweet Baby to $1 billion Baby, the Olivia Pope story.
LBJ, that literally would be the best movie that Lifetime has made in a long time if they were to do that, because that is so good to me right now.
Yeah, but go ahead.
LBJ, I just have to call out Kimmy J in the chat because she's just reminding us that Olivia is the face that launched 1,000 ships.
Yes,
indeed.
Yes.
Okay, this is once again LBJ. I mean, my gosh, this. I mean, frankly, we have questioned on many occasions the sincerity of Fitz's love. You know, we've wondered, is Fitz just looking to Olivia as a way out of his situation? We've wondered, is Fitz just a spoiled little prep school boy who just sees Olivia as some sort of adventure? LBJ, listen, the jury is back, and that man is in love. He literally, to Kimmy J's point, launched ships for this woman.
And like we said in the last recap, Janiyah, we actually received very clear foreshadowing this season in the fact that they specifically referred, Kimmy J, remember this? They referred to Olivia Pope as Helen of Troy.
Yep.
That launched 1,000 ships. Never did I think, and I pay attention to the details all the time, never did I think that they'd be going to war because of, or with Olivia Pope in the middle of the entire thing. Bananas. BANANAS.
Yes, it is, LBJ, but it is also so good to me, and that is why I love this show. LBJ, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
LBJ, I was just going to say, let us go back. We're talking about Fitz and Mellie and their relationship. First of all, Candace in the chat said, Mellie and Fitz have an open marriage, creepy and crazy, with the mistress and the VP. That's right. They keep it very close to home. They said, we're going to get our head of our PR staff and then also our vice president. And we're going to really just get as much nectar as we can. LBJ, Mellie and Fitz, they're sitting out on the terrace, LBJ. And they're having this deep conversation about what is most important to them. What goals are actually tangible? What's in sight that would actually bring them true happiness and fulfillment? And Fitz says, Olivia. And what does Mellie say, LBJ? LBJ?
I'm drawing a blank.
I'll tell you why you're drawing a blank, because this particular moment of the show blew your brains out of your head. Mellie said, I want to run the world. I want to be president of the United States.
Yes, she did. And I said that earlier. She said she wants to run the world. Yeah, she did. Yes. You're right.
LBJ, we've known it was coming. It was coming. You'll recall when she was in Smelly Mellie phase, one of the reasons we really wanted her to pop out of it and really get back to life was because we didn't want to ruin the chances of her being the next candidate after Fitz finishes his second term. LBJ, she finally said it. It is on the record, and Fitz has signed up. He said, well, all right then. Andrew gets to run free so that we can keep our business off the streets. And you, Mellie, will be president of the United States. LBJ, huge.
It was huge. It was huge. But here's the thing, tonight.
Huge.
I will say that
Huge in scandal.
huge in
Huge
scandal.
in scandal.
Huge in scandal. Huge in Kinlock and huge in scandal.
Hashtag Jackie's back.
Right, hashtag Jackie's back. Check out Jackie's back. But Janiyah, we called that on the episode when Mellie, like you said, she was a smelly Mellie, fried chicken Mellie, drunken Mellie,
Yes.
Ugg wearing Mellie, smelly robe Mellie, wearing Mellie, all those Mellies. Remember when she met with the first lady, the former first lady, and she came in and she told her like, "Oh no, this is how you run this whole thing. Let me show you how to run this whole thing."
Yes.
And Mellie got a taste of that power, a taste of that leadership. And the two of us said together, Janiyah, that we think that Mellie could potentially have a desire to run for president. We called it. Go back and watch the episode, people. We say great things. We say prolific and prophetic things here on the Scandal Recap. Make sure you keep watching every single week. Boom.
LBJ, can we cut out that clip and make it the promo? Because what you're really getting down to is the truth, which is that we're really in tune with these characters, LBJ. Because you know what? There were a couple of things that happened tonight where I was like, LBJ kind of forecasted this. LBJ kind of forecasted this.
Oh my gosh, you're right. Can I just jump in and say that we did this, and this is so small, but I definitely said this in our in the previous Scandal Recap. Folks, go back and watch. I said two things that I can recall this episode that happened. The first was I said that we have one or two episodes left before Ian is taken out. Ian was taken out, as Janiyah said, in the top 10%. In the first 10% of the episode, he was smited. He was gone. It was like he was over. He was finito. Yes. And then the second thing was I said I think that we will begin to see some underlying discussion, some kind of dialogue that deals with some social commentary on war. And what did we see tonight? We saw the president have a vulnerable moment where he discussed the importance of bringing Olivia back alive in a box in the memorial that they have in those hangars, where the first lady is there comforting the families among all of the among all of the flag draped coffins there. We said that right here in the Scandal Recap tonight. Is that what you're going to talk about?
But LBJ, you're forgetting the biggest one. Last chat, LBJ, you said that this auction would be the reason Maya Pope and Papa Pope come back.
You're right. I did say that. Yes, I said that.
LBJ, you prophesied once again from the mountaintop.
Hey!
LBJ, you were 100% correct. She was the international terrorist that we needed when we needed her. Yes, and LBJ, you knew she was coming back, and she did, LBJ.
So here's the thing, though. Mama Pope came back, so could it be what Kimmy J is saying and what the cliffhanger is? Could it really be Kimmy J that Iran is Papa Pope? Could it be, Janiyah, that Iran is Papa Pope, and we're going to see him when the black the sheet is taken off of her head next week? Will we see Papa Pope on the other side?
LBJ, it is highly likely. And how do we know? Because once they ripped that pillowcase from Olivia's head, the look of complete shock on her face about who turns out to be her purchaser, literally, I mean, whoever it is, it was a look of recognition. So it was someone that she knows. And LBJ, who better to impersonate a foreign country than Command?
Exactly, because why? Command is always in control.
Always. And LBJ, let's talk about what would happen if it was Papa Pope.
Oh, you know what's going to happen, Janiyah? Those goons that are standing with him are going to snipe every person that is standing next to Olivia, and they're going to pull Olivia out, and he's going to give her some "I told you so" monologue, spank her on her hand, and say, "I'm now releasing you from timeout and sending you someplace else."
LBJ, you are on notice that we, as the public, are expecting you to memorize whatever monologue that Eli Pope gives so that you can perform it for us as a part of this chat next week. Okay?
Let me tell you.
Papa Pope, you best have your pen and paper ready, LBJ, because we need to memorialize that "I told you so" monologue that Papa Pope would surely give to say, listen, I let you out of my sight for 2 minutes, and you now have been abducted, and you are literally, I own you now. I had to buy your freedom. LBJ,
yeah, like literally.
Yeah, and LBJ, we can't forget that we still, we know that Andrew, mastermind, he was absolutely the primary player in Olivia's original abduction.
Yes.
But we also know that Andrew really doesn't have connections like that.
No.
So it's still possible that Papa Pope was on the other side of this abduction as well. Time will tell.
I believe that he was, Janiyah, for the simple fact that we know how Rowan feels about Fitz. We know that Rowan is out for Fitz. We know Rowan is like, you know what, dude, let me just show you that, you're not running this. And now that Olivia is on punishment, so to speak, he's got to teach Olivia a lesson as well. He already taught Fitz a lesson by killing his son. Rowan loves Olivia too much. He loves her too much. And I don't know if you've ever done this, but I have hurt my parents' feelings when I was younger, and my parents were just like totally disgusted with me. And this is where Papa Pope is disgusted with Olivia, and he's just so disgusted. He's got to teach her a lesson. There is no reason why that they have some random soundstage in Randomville, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, where this girl is, and she's thinking that she's in a foreign country. It's just too much. It's too much, and it's like the episode of The Cosby Show, the real world episode of The Cosby Show, where Theo comes home and Ludy's the landlord and Vanessa's the thing, and his mom is running the diner. And she's like, "Hey, Holly, how you doing?" It's like that episode of The Cosby Show. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing to teach your child this lesson? And that's what Papa Pope is doing here. That's what I think.
Yes, LBJ. And you know what? This just sounds exactly like something he would do. But LBJ, I have to say, the fact that all of us, I feel like we all kind of think that it's Papa Pope.
Yeah.
The fact that we're all pretty sure that it's him kind of makes me feel like it might not be him.
It might not be. You're right. You're right, Janiyah.
Because it was such a natural prediction for all of us. Everyone. I personally, LBJ, got 3 different text messages and then said, Papa Pope, Papa Pope, Papa Pope. Everyone thinks it's Papa Pope. And because of that, I do wonder, LBJ, if Shonda has another twist coming.
Janiyah, I think it's 100% possible that there is another person that we might see that we have not seen in a while. I saw on Facebook someone said, y'all thought Berna was dead, but Berna's going to come back and Berna's going to be the one to be Iran. I don't know who it is. I think all of our guts are saying Papa Pope. Folks in the Hangout, in the Q&A, all the viewers, let us know. Post somewhere and let us know who you think Iran is. Let us know who do you think purchased Olivia. I'm hoping that it really is Papa Pope because, like I said, what I don't want to happen, my prediction from the last chat, Janiyah, what I don't want to happen is that this whole hostage thing goes on and this war thing goes on for the rest of the season, because that's where I probably will tap out and be and lose interest in some of the story.
Right. But LBJ, here's the thing: when a major storyline starts to conclude, LBJ, Shonda always, without a fail, throws another little wrench in the works. And LBJ, it would just be maybe a little too neat for this to be the way that Command comes back on the scene. Because again, we're all predicting it. LBJ, I wonder if there's going to be some new element, some new character from Olivia's past. Because, there's so many things about Olivia we don't know. She had to have some other friends. We know she has lots of enemies, LBJ. What about past love interests? Anyway, the universe of people that they could kind of bring out, the imagination can literally just run to infinity on this one.
It could. We know that this does exist. We know that she has a past, and we know that, in her collegiate days in D.C., she definitely dabbled with men of affluence and carried herself in circles that the traditional college student, grad student would not carry, would not hang out. But I think, Janiyah, we have to consider that there are more episodes left in the season. This is kind of like, I don't know if it's like a spoiler, but this is just my logic. I think that because of the number of episodes we have left in this season, we have to have a presence of Rowan Pope in the picture to help things play out. And I'm really hoping that they don't let this stuff drag on too long and hold Rowan out of the picture. Like, we need him in the story. So because now there is a war going on, and there's also this internal scandal that will have to be fixed between the vice president and the president, and the vice, and also the chairman or whatever she is, Lizzie Bear DeGeneres, her position with the RNC. There's all that has to take place and play out. and there's a potential of somebody being offed that matters to the story. That's how I see this whole thing playing out as a season.
LBJ, you're right. We have to factor in the arc of the show for the season, and you're completely right that we do have to start to bring some conclusion to some things. But I will just say, and I think Candace summed it up here in the chat. She said, "I hope Iran is Papa Pope, but Scandal is anything but predictable." And she also says that Olivia Pope had a look of familiarity on her face. So we know at least it's someone that she knows. So we'll see, LBJ.
Exactly. She did. You're right, Candace. She definitely didn't look like she was shocked. She looked like, really? You? And so maybe, I don't know, could it be, gosh, I don't know who
well, that's the
people
thing.
like Gladiators, help us out. Who could it be? Who's missing that we haven't seen?
Or is it a new player, LBJ, to bring new life to the show? Oh, LBJ, you know they like to sneak in a new actor on us when we're not ready for it.
I know.
LBJ, there's another point we have to make as we're wrapping up tonight, which is that there was another big question that was raised tonight, and Kimmy J called it out in the Q&A. She said, "Can we talk about the elephant in the room? ... Huck. ... Yeah, we need a few more dots. Because the question is, Huck, have you gone to Darknet? Are you now on the dark side? We're worried about you, Huck. Can you come back from that?" Because he was enjoying that little massacre just a little too much.
But see, I think that Huck will have to come back. I think Huck will return from the dark side. Huck, remember, this is Huck's B613 thing, you guys. Huck has done this before, and the way Huck comes out of it, Huck, remember, he's a loyalist. He will do any and everything for Olivia Pope. She has hurt this man in the life of this show. She has hurt him, and he is still stuck with her. Huck needs Olivia to help bring him out of that dark place and help make things right.
And you know what, LBJ, you're so right about that. And that's actually a great segue to what my takeaway was for this episode. When Olivia Pope was doing the Pope factor on the IT guys, goons number 3 and 4.
Right.
She said, LBJ, to them, "I can take care of you." And LBJ, let me just say that moment stuck with me. Because it was about, once again, Olivia's confidence that she literally not only had the power that are within her. And I just thought, my friend. When my friends say to me, "Oh, Janiyah, you know, absolutely has my back, absolutely will protect me at any cost," I hope so, LBJ. But I think it's something we need to think about whether or giving our friends in us that they deserve. Do they know that you will go to the match for them? If they don't know, you need to make it plain as soon as you hear it.
That's good, Janiyah. That's good, folks. Janiyah is talking right in here today. Well, I'll tell you, my takeaway, Janiyah, if I could add to the conversation, I think I would have to go to Candace Brown, who kind of dealt with this, and maybe probably because we live together and we're married and we had that discussion prior to Scandal. Yeah. But we talked about Candace mentions here, Olivia knows her worth, no question about it. And it calls the question what your personal worth is. What is your personal wealth? Worth? What is your personal worth? What are you worth? What as it relates to your compensation for your job? What's your personal worth? As it relates to the company that you keep, the time that you invest with people that costs you nothing but your time. Like, are you worth more than the company that you keep? Are you worth more than the food that you eat? Are you worth more than the thoughts that you think? Are you worth more than the actions that you execute? What are you worth? Know your worth. Are you worth? And do it from a place of not being worth less, but do it from an intentional place of knowing what your worth is. That would be what my takeaway is. Olivia clearly knew her worth in this situation, and granted, this was really situational worth. And I offer that to everybody else. Like, what you've got before you, I just said were different situations of your worth. Your worth spans the spectrum of all different types of of ideals and
Mm-hmm.
whatnot. So know your worth, folks. That's my takeaway for tonight, Janaya.
Oh, that's good, LBJ. That's good.
Thank you, thank you. So, what predictions do you have? We talked about quite a few things. You can
Yes.
sum up something. What do you think we should expect next week in Scandal or in episodes to come?
Well, LBJ, I'll tell you, one thing I'm always not just expecting but hoping for, but is the termination of the Quinn character. That goes without
Oh,
saying. I
Janaya,
mean,
guys, thanks for tuning in tonight. This is the end of the Scandal recap. We're going to have to eject Janaya from the conversation. Like, really, Janaya?
I'm so tired of her. I feel like the role that she plays in the show can be accomplished with a text message. I feel like an anonymous text message from into someone's phone can be Quinn's line. Please get rid of her. But also, LBJ, I have lots of questions. Will Gabby Abby want to go back to the Gladiators? You know, she was very disturbed by being excluded, right? LBJ,
Teacher, have my hand up. Teacher, have my hand up. Wait, teacher, have my hand up. Can I answer your question, teacher? Teacher, my answer to your question. Yes, she will go back to doing what she does. And we saw this, Janaya, and hold on to your next question for episodes to come. But I had to put this in here. This is in my notes. I didn't say it. I'm so excited. Gabby Abby Red was she was doing the word that we made up on this show, and she was gladiating. Remember when she was briefing the president on what was going on after she went to Olivia's condo to see what happened there and all that jazz. She's back in front of the president in the Oval Office briefing the president, and in her mind, she's gladiating. She's fast. She's going back, flashing back to what she saw, thinking about what happened to my friend. But also while she's gladiating, she's also trying to put the story together because she then questions the president, like, what's going on? Then she goes to David Rosen, and David Rosen, she came out and she began gladiating. Yes, Gabby Abby Red will return, Janaya. That's my answer to your question.
LBJ, I'll bet you're right. You know, that's left open to be seen. We're looking to see whose face do we see when they pan that camera around from Olivia's shocked but familiar expression. And we're also waiting to see what happens with Andrew. But at the end of the episode, he was still hanging around. They were going to let him walk. What does let Andrew mean? You know? And I'll say one more question, LBJ. Mellie, what are we going to see from Mellie in the next few episodes as she starts to position herself to become president of the United States?
These are great questions, Janaya. So I will offer to you my takeaways for tonight's episode. I'll pick up where you left off. Mellie will become Mellie the Magnificent. That's who Mellie is going to become.
Yes.
In Scandal, she's going to rise to a place of power, of strength, and of courage that is going to be based in a place that none of us will be able to fathom because she has been through so much in the life of this show. I also think that we will see the return of Papa Pope probably next week since we've seen Mama Pope. You can't do a Mama Pope without the Papa Pope because, you know, he's always got his finger on something that she's doing, which, by the way, I was very surprised that they went in to visit Mama Pope and you know, the daddy wasn't aware of it. I'm sure daddy is aware of it.
He's aware.
Because of all of his dealings and everything with Mama Pope. So I think that we will definitely see something going on with Mama Pope because remember he's all knowing. He's all knowing in the show, and so we will definitely see something with that. If you ask me, he got wind of all that was going on maybe over his radar as the auction was opening up.
He's on Darknet.
Yeah, totally. He's definitely on Darknet. So we're going to see the return of Papa Pope. I think that we're also going to see we're going to potentially see the addition. We're going to see there's going to be some fallout, internal like White House fallout from the people that were a part of this entire vice presidential scandal. And these people are going to be exposed. Will they be killed? Will they be fired? I don't know. I do think that before the season ends, we could potentially see the end of the vice presidential character, and he will probably be like assassinated, and they will probably lay him to rest and give him some kind of ceremonious something in lieu of exposing all the foolishness that he was involved in.
Actually, you know what? If they were to terminate the Andrew character, that would be a very clean close to that storyline. If they let him walk away alive, though, LBJ, that story of Mellie Scandal with him would be available for the presidency. Just something to think about.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's really
Anyway,
good. Well, all remains to be seen, and it's been great hanging out, chatting with you tonight, Janai, and thanks to everybody who joined us. Any last words?
LBJ, this was such a fun chat. I am just excited for the next few episodes. Stay with us, everybody.
All right, we will see you next week for another scandal recap. Make sure you take the YouTube link, share it with your friends, post it up on your Facebook page so the West Coast can see it when it comes on, and we will see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.